right, it's 42 minutes after 7. You're welcome to my banner. My guest is Reverend Jonathan Better. He speaks for the Ghana Education Service. He's their mouthpiece, and it's always a pleasure to host him here on the show. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sister. How are you?
I am blessed.
Right.
And also, highly favored.
I'm also blessed.
So before we get into this book, we all know how this started. But let me ask, is there any updates on any of the things? I get validation questions on the show like I work with GES.
Thank you very much. Well, I just want to thank you and your listeners for the opportunity. Some people are ready to listen to me on this issue. Before I begin, I just want to draw the attention of the public that Ghana Education Service, we have means of getting to our schools, to the headmasters. We communicate to the schools and the children through the headmasters, and we are moving ahead to make sure that any incident that happen in our schools are addressed positively. We don't attack people, but we make sure that the problems that are confronting us are solved reasonably. Right. This issue of occultism that is spreading like a kerosene or a fire in the country, I want to debunk the fact that the school in question that people have mentioned, Wesley girls are practicing occultism. It's not true. It is not true. I personally, or administrators, the management of Ghana Education Service met the headmistress, and I had one-on-one discussion with the headmistress last week concerning the issue. And for all that, it was something just that to tarnish the image of our institution, which we are not very happy about.
So that's the conclusion?
Yeah, sorry?
That's the conclusion on that matter with Wesley girls?
Exactly. That it should end over there. We would not like anybody to continue. When we talk about occultism generally, I think we can address that.
But we've heard that it exists in some of the schools.
Yes, I'm not denying the fact that it may not exist or it doesn't exist. But what I want to say is that officially we have Christian organizations in almost all our schools, especially the secondary school. If I should cross border to universities, when you were in school, you remember that you were part of Scripture Union, Gansu, Pensa, Assemblies of God, and a lot of them. They are well organized groups that worship God, that the school has the knowledge about in their existence in the school. So Ghana Education Service, for that matter, the ministry also approve of those organizations or unions in our schools. Those unions that will mold the children, put the fear of God, good morals, we approve those things. But any other thing that is not officially accepted by the school authorities, by Ghana Education Service, by Ministry of Education, we frown on them. We are highly against anything because our children are below age for us to allow them to do whatever they like, to belong to any type of groups that they may like.
Okay.
We are against that.
So that's why we're talking about this book that the GES says its content is not suitable for such children.
Yeah.
Why?
That is it. You know, the Ministry of Angels and how to activate them, as the book implies, they gave a direction that you should go to website, go to this, and then you have a lot of things. This book had an affiliation with Christ Symbolic Union. They are called Christ Symbolic Union. When you go to the websites and you print out and study into detail their practices, they are nothing that our students, our children, our brothers and sisters should study. Their brains are sad that, whatever that comes outside and they welcome it, they become addicted to it. Occultism is an addictive menace. when you vest yourself into occultism or the practice of this, what they are saying in their book, it will be very difficult for you. I can cite an example that if you allow your daughter or your son to belong to such a group in your school or wherever, even in your house, you'll be surprised that early morning you hear your son or daughter screaming, shouting, invoking powers, supernatural powers, which is not God, supernatural powers that we Christians believe. Muslims also believe in God. We all believe in God. But they also don't practice. They are also against this occultism. You see, so you could see your son or daughter waking up early morning and say, Millicent, this, speaking to the spirits.
So this essentially teaches the children to speak to spirits.
I'm telling you, supernatural powers. And it is magical, magicians. You know, when you study deep, you realize that I try to put some few points on my paper is occultism, including magic, astrology, supernatural, spiritism. So when we talk about spiritism, we invoke powers, we invoke spirit to come into our aid. You'll be surprised that if this is happening in our schools or in our society, the children will not even learn, because they know that when they invoke powers, when they call powers, the power will come to descend and then give them whatever that they wanted. And it's confusing.
So how did this find its way in some of the schools?
Well, thank you very much. When you say some of the schools, I may not believe this, because they've mentioned Wesley Girls' School that they found this book, but not in all our schools. Report has not officially gotten to the Director General that in all our schools in the whole country, this book is in circulation or this.
But you can also fairly conclude that if a few students were found with the book in one school, then it's possible that other students in other places may also have access.
It could be true. It could be true. But this book, I believe, entered into the school through few of them who bought it outside. It was not in the school. It was not sold in the school.
Because this is not an approved GES book.
It is never. So they brought it from outside. We have thousands of books outside, on the market. So they brought it in. Students are curious. At this age, they are very curious. Let me see. Let me read. What is it? They say when you go to this place, you go to their website, you Google this, you get this information and that. So it was that somebody suspected that was happening, that call in for the withdrawal of this type of. They quote Bible. Biblical statements are inside. If you're not careful, if you're not experienced, you accept everything, like is happening in our society. That anybody who calls himself reverend, minister, or pastor, apostle, bishop, or whatever, says anything. Doctrine. There are a lot of things into these materials that when you study, you allow your son or daughter, it will not help at all.
So the position for GES, it's not like you're condemning the book. You're just saying that for your students, this is not good for their consumption.
Exactly. That's what we even made a statement when somebody was interviewing me. I told the person, I'm not here to attack the gentleman called Reverend Bani, Viney, or whatever. I am not there to attack him personally, but the material, we regulate or we make sure that whatever goes into the school domain are looked into by the school management. If they are storybooks, novels, a textbook, or any other thing that comes into the domain, school headmasters and headmistresses will have a hand in it. But this book has entered into the school premises without the knowledge of the people. So immediately it was reported to the headmistress in court. She quickly rallied the students around and then withdrew this book. They mentioned, they brought a picture about the school. In the picture, you realize that those people who were in the picture completed the school long time. They are not current students also in the school. So
was it not, just a picture that was supposed to tell the school and not necessarily refer to the students?
Which is very bad. Very soon, I believe Ghana Education Service will be seeing a lot of people who will be entering into our premises without legal means. You can't do it. You can't take Ghana Education Service for granted. We have trained teachers, we've trained presidents, we've trained a lot of people. So now, if you are looking in upon Ghana Education Service that this is happening, we allow people to say whatever they want to say, but they must be very careful, especially the media. They must be very careful in whatever they report about an institution which is not right. Yes.
So what do you say to parents, some people who are watching the show now who may not know that their children are reading this book, who have probably spotted? What should they do?
Well, Ghana Education Service is investigating, and after the investigation, we will come out, we'll write a press statement to the headmasters, and then we'll allow them to meet parents at PTA meetings. During their meetings, they should educate the parents on some of these issues. And also, we are praying that very soon we will increase our guidance and counseling department to see how best this could be addressed. But parents should also be very mindful, be very vigilant with their walls, with their children in the house. Many are the things that children could do without our knowledge. You are asleep. Your child is on net, is doing a lot of things, studying a lot of things. So we need to be vigilant. We need to be very careful. We must continue counseling our children in the house, talking to them as fathers and mothers, so that their mind will not be off whatever we wanted them in future.
Okay, let me just say that I tried to contact the person who wrote the book because, I wanted to understand from his own perspective what he makes of the content not suitable for a certain age group of people in the country. My call went through. I introduced myself nicely, and then the call dropped. So I called back again. Nobody answered. I called back again, and then it was switched off. And so that's where it ended. But Reverend, once you are here and once you are representing GS, I cannot control the things that people want to ask you. So here's one. Nazir from Boga says, please ask Reverend Better whether it is part of GS rules that teachers should use scissors on student hair.
Teachers are not to use scissors on students' hair.
Okay.
They are to call the student. If you realize that the student has a very bad hair cut or anything, you are to draw the attention of the guidance and counseling teacher or coordinator in that school for him to draw the attention of the child why his or her hair should not be in that form. But if you do that, it's a little bit abusive, very abusive. You don't do that. And if you are doing that and it resulted into so many things, and we may not be able to support. But we are there to counsel, teach the children, handle them as parents or sisters, brothers and sisters in the school, that they feel comfortable, not to use scissors rampant.
Okay. Yeah. This one says, Mama, I think though it is not true that the school is practicing occultism, it is good it was brought to the public. The awareness has been created. The students could have entered a no-go area. Okay, thanks for that message. And I think it's from Reverend Ebenezer Jamara sending that WhatsApp message. This one says, the book in question, The Ministry of Angels and How to Activate Them, is not only in Wegehe, it is also found in most senior high schools. So you want me to make Reverend aware of it. Okay, Jeremiah from Legon, ask him of ways he has planned to curb it. Jeremiah from Legon is giving you a piece of information. So I don't know. Is that maybe you should? But you said you are still investigating.
Yeah, we are still.
Is the plan to call the heads of the institutions and get them to search?
Let me address part of his statement. Ghana Education Service is not doubting or is not denying the fact that we may not see this kind of behavior or in our children, but we are saying that they are not allowed to be practiced in our schools, and they are not practiced in our schools. Occultism is not practiced. It is not an organization. It is not an association.
So it will be illegal for that to happen in any of the institutions.
If there is an individual in the school, a student, individual from the house, most of these things, we pick them from our homes. What we look at our parents doing is what we practice. Society do, we practice. So we don't do this. We don't allow it. Secondly, we will be writing circular schools are on recess now, we'll be writing circular to school authorities on this issue. Now, we're trying to see how best we will increase the training of more counselors in our schools.
Okay.
It shouldn't be one counselor to 1,500 or 1,800 students in a school.
Which is the case currently.
In actual fact, if we don't have more counselors, we may not be able to solve a lot of these challenges that.
But this may not be the only book that our children are exposed to.
There could be other books, but officially, those books that we have in our schools, we don't expect this type of books and then leaflets in our schools.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We have to leave the conversation here, but I think there was an issue with validation. What's the latest?
But before you leave this particular one,
Yes.
I want to draw your attention and the public's attention to the fact that we have called headmasters that as soon as school resumes, their eyes must be on our little children who are not beyond 18 years to take decision on their own. Any smaller group that they have seen, that they've gathered somewhere doing whatever, they should be vigilant and then approach them. And if it's not a very good organization, they should ban and dissolve those ones.
Okay.
Well, coming to the validation, this is a very tough case.
I know.
Yes,
Somebody's asking about teachers' arrest.
It is a very tough case. Ghana Education Service, let me tell you, the current Director General of Ghana Education Service is somebody that I trust and I respect so much. He will not sit down for his teachers to suffer. So every time, financial controllers, IPPD department, they happen. Controller is not far away from GES. So we always move to their premises asking about these challenges that our teachers are facing. Well, they have finished with the first phase, and we are expecting that from this week, the second phase will begin. Validation of the documents will begin very soon. When it begins, then we are expecting that majority of these people in this April and May, they will be paid.
Yeah.
We went to the authorities and we received an assurance that as far as their documents are validated, proved right, they must be paid and they will be paid.
Okay.
Just a matter of being patient with Ghana Education Service. We have over 60,000 documents to go through. And we thank God that their teacher union organization, they are also part of us helping to come out with what is expected to be done for the payment to be made to them. So we are on track. We are just working seriously. Yes.
Once the questions come, I'll ask you.
Let me answer. Let me answer you.
But thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
Always grateful that you always answer to our call. Thanks for being here.
Yes.
All right. So we thank you for watching. Essentially, what we are saying is open your eyes and your ears to what your children are exposed to. It's not everything that the teachers may see or the heads of the institutions may see and draw the GES's attention. A lot of the work also relies on us as parents and guardians of these young ones. Stay with us here on the show. We've got AM Talk right after this.